Okay, dear students. So we are discussing today the NEET mock paper 6. So the first question that you had was, so which one of the following is a correct outline of the main events in photosynthesis? So oxygen reacts with the carbohydrate to produce water and carbon dioxide in the presence of light. This is a wrong statement for photosynthesis. Sunlight induces carbon dioxide to react to an acceptor compound, which is then reduced by hydrogen obtained from water. This is also wrong because sunlight just provides a source of energy. It brings about splitting of water, but not this reaction. Sunlight splits water and the resulting hydroxyl group combines with a compound which has incorporated carbon dioxide. That is also wrong. Carbon dioxide combines with an acceptor compound and this is reduced by a so carbon dioxide combines with an acceptor compound, that is RuBP, and this is reduced by a compound. So how is this reduced? By NADPH2. And where is that NADPH2 formed? It is formed during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So NAD becomes reduced by hydrogen split from water by sunlight. So this fourth statement is the correct statement to explain the main events in photosynthesis. So the second question I was discussing about was Dash performed an elegant experiment with a dash plant to show that in bright sunlight, small bubbles were formed around the dash parts, while in dark they did not. So it was nothing but the experiment was performed by Ingenuous in an aquatic plant. So the bubbles were formed around the green part. So first option is correct for 92nd part of it. Then the next option, third one, third question, that is the 93rd question. The experiment material used by Van Niel to prove that oxygen comes out from water was studied on Chlorella pyrenoidosa, Cladophora, uh, purple and green sulfur bacteria, or blue-green algae. So the experiment material used by Van Niel, so to prove that oxygen comes out from water, was studied on this purple and green sulfur bacteria. So third option is the correct one. Okay. So 94th, a photosynthesizing plant is releasing, so this radioactive material oxygen it is, 18 it is, O2 18, more than the normal. The plant must have been supplied with carbon dioxide with 18 oxygen or ozone or C6H12 O6 with 18 oxygen or H2O with 18 oxygen. Okay, so a photosynthesizing plant. So where is this radioactive oxygen supplied? Is the source from carbon dioxide, or is it from ozone or glucose, or is it from the water? So it is from water because water, the photolysis of water releases oxygen. Okay, that happens in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So 94th, fourth is the correct answer. So D is the correct answer for that. 95th, photosynthesis is important because it is the primary source of food on earth. It is responsible for release of oxygen into the atmosphere by green plants. Okay, it is responsible for release of water vapor into the uh, atmosphere, or it is both 1 and 2. So 95th, it is both 1 and 2. So D is the correct option. So 96, which part of the chloroplast contains photosynthetic pigments? So which part of the pigment chloroplast contains photosynthetic pigments? Is it inner membrane of chloroplast, or is it thylakoid space or thylakoid membrane, or is it stroma? So the answer is it is present on the thylakoid membrane. So the chloroplast contains photosynthetic pigments on the membrane of thylakoid or thylakoid membrane. So next question, the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis is it absorption of carbon dioxide, or is it absorption of light only, absorption of light and photochemical decomposition of water, or absorption of water? So it is not only absorption of light, but also breakdown of water. So 97th, it is third one is the correct option. So the absorption of light and photochemical decomposition of water. So both are taking place in the chlorophyll. So third option is the correct one. 97th, the C is the correct option. The difference in the structure of chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B comes due to the presence of variable group on. So where is the variable group present between chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B? It's a little difficult question, not outside of the syllabus part of it. So the answer is, so the difference in the structure of chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B comes due to the presence of variable group on third position of second pyrrole ring. So third position of second pyrrole ring. So you can remember 32, third position of second pyrrole ring. So 98 C is the answer, or third option is the answer. Third position of second pyrrole ring. So Mole's half-life experiment proves that light is essential for photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis, oxygen releases during photosynthesis, chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. Second option, carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. So half-life experiment, half-life is within the reagent bottle having KOH, which absorbs carbon dioxide. The remaining half-life, they are exposed to atmosphere, they undergo photosynthesis. So this experiment, Mole's half-life experiment, proves that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. So 92nd, 99th, second is the right answer. 100, which one of the photosynthetic pigments, following photosynthetic pigments in higher plants, serve as antenna molecule? Okay, is it all types of pigments which bind with proteins, or is it chlorophyll and A and B only, carotenoids only, xanthophylls only? So the answer is, so the photosynthetic pigments, all types of pigments, photosynthetic pigments, which binds with proteins in higher plants serve as antenna molecule. They should bind with protein. So all types of pigments which binds with proteins, so they are going to serve as antenna molecules. So first one is the right option. 101. Consider the following statements. The portion of spectrum between 200 nanometer and 800 nanometer is also referred to as photosynthetically active radiation. PAR. Magnesium, calcium, and chloride ion plays prominent role in the photolysis of water. In cyclic photophosphorylation, oxygen is not released and NADPH is also not produced. Of these statements given above, so which are the true and false statements they have asked about? Okay, so A is true, but B and C are false. So A and the B are false. A and B are false, but C is true. So C is true. A and B are false. So this is the correct option. Okay. So the 102 light reaction or photochemical phase includes. So what does it include? Light reaction or photochemical phase includes absorption of light, water splitting, oxygen release, or is it ATP and NADPH formation, carbon dioxide fixation and glucose formation, both 1 and 2. So absorption of light, water splitting, oxygen release, ATP and NADPH formation. So both 1 and 2 is the right answer. 1 or 2 is D, or fourth option is the correct one. So which of the following statements concerning the light reaction of photosynthesis is true? So photosystem 1 cannot operate independent of photosystem 2. Photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 are activated by different wavelengths of light. Only photosystem 2 and not photosystem 1 transfers electron and create proton gradients across the thylakoid membrane. So which of the following statements concerning the light reaction of photosynthesis is true? So the option is 103, the option is second one. Only the second option is correct. Remaining are all wrong. So photosystem 1, it has the 700 nanometer wavelength of light they get activated by. Photosystem 2, 680 nanometer wavelength of light they get activated by. So second one is the correct option, correct statement, whereas the first, third, and fourth, they are the wrong statement. So 104, in cyclic photophosphorylation, splitting of water is necessary. NADPH molecules are reduced. ATPs are not synthesized. External electron donor is not required. So in cyclic photophosphorylation, what is going to happen? So is splitting of water is necessary? No, that is not going to happen. It is in NADP, it is in non-cyclic photophosphorylation. NADPH molecules are not produced. ATPs are not synthesized. Okay, so that is also wrong. ATPs are synthesized here. So these two are not synthesized. So this statement is also wrong. So external electron donor is not required. So this is correct statement. So 104, D is the answer. So external electron donor is not required. So the most crucial step of the Kelvin cycle is carboxylation phase, or is it reduction phase, synthesis phase, regeneration phase. So the carboxylation phase fixed by the carbon dioxide acceptor, RUBP. Okay, that is going to be the most crucial step of this Kelvin cycle. So first one is the correct option. So the movement of electrons as per Z scheme in light reaction is uphill in redox potential scale, downhill in redox potential scale, both 1 and 2, from low to high proton concentration. So the movement of electrons as per uh, Z scheme. So third one is right, both 1 and 2. So 106, the answer is C. So there is uphill as well as downhill. That is why they take the shape of Z scheme. Okay. So both 1 and 2 are correct. There is uphill in redox potential scale as well as downhill in redox potential case scale. In photophosphorylation, under the circumstances when NADP is no longer available as acceptor, the electrons are passed to. So in photophosphorylation, under the circumstances when NADP is no longer available as acceptor, the electrons are passed to ferredoxin, plastocyanin, cytochrome B6F complex, plastoquinone. So what is happening under the circumstances when NADP is no longer available as acceptor, the electrons are passed to. So which part of it they are passed to? Is it ferredoxin, plastocyanin, cytochrome B6F complex? So the answer is it is going to be the cytochrome complex, cytochrome B6F complex. So the electrons under the circumstances when NADP is no longer available as acceptor, the electrons are passed to cytochrome complex. That is cytochrome B6F complex they are passed to. The creation of proton gradient across the thylakoid membrane is a result of decrease in proton number in stroma, accumulation of protons in the lumen, decrease in the pH in the lumen, all of the above. So the answer is all of the above. There is decrease in proton number in stroma. There is accumulation of protons in the lumen. So decrease in the pH in the lumen. All these are going to create a proton gradient across the thylakoid membrane. Okay. Next question. ATP synthesis during photosynthesis is termed as. So the ATP synthesis during photosynthesis is termed as photophosphorylation. Okay, so in presence of light, ATP is synthesized, photophosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation, we use it for the respiration process, the last stage, terminal oxidation. So where by oxidation process, there is creation of ATP. So the answer here is during photosynthesis, it is called as photophosphorylation. The red drop phenomenon is due to the disruption of the photochemical activity of PS1, PS1 and PS2 both, or is it PS2 or carotenoid? So the red drop phenomenon is due to the disruption of the photochemical activity of PS2, that is the photosystem 2. So this is the answer for 110. Kelvin cycle takes place only in monocots and dicots, only in C3 plants, only in C4 plants, in all photosynthetic plants. So Kelvin cycle takes place in all photosynthetic plants. So fourth one is the correct option. See, if you observe into these questions, all these questions are framed from the NCERT book. So if you are thorough with NCERT book, nearly 90% of NEET questions, you can solve it. Okay. In dark reaction, phosphoglyceric acid is reduced with the help of so Kelvin cycle. PGA is reduced with the help of NADPH, FADH2, NADH, both 1 and 3. So how is it reduced by? So the 112, the answer is for NADPH2. So it is reduced with the help of NADPH2. That is NADPH plus H plus. First one. 113th, the primary acceptor of carbon dioxide in C3 pathway of C4 plants. In C3 pathway of C4 plants is, so the primary acceptor of carbon dioxide. So it would again be the RUBP itself. Okay. So is it aldopentose, keto triose, or ketopentose? So ketotetrose. The answer for the 113th is C, ketopentose. That is RUBP accepts it. Okay. Ribulose biphosphate, ketopentose. It is. Final product of C4 cycle is formed in. So final product of C4 cycle is formed in mesophyll cells, bundle sheath cells, epidermal cells, guard cells. So the final product of C4 cycle is formed in the bundle sheath cells. So from mesophyll cells, they are going to transfer this, and the final product of C4 cycle is formed in bundle sheath cells. How many ATP and NADPH molecules are required to reduce 3 carbon dioxide molecules in sugarcane? So how many ATP and NADPH molecules are required to reduce 3 carbon dioxide molecules in sugarcane? So this is going to be the tricky answer for this. So you have to calculate the total number of ATP and NADPH molecules required to reduce carbon dioxide molecules in sugarcane. So that is going to be so the fixation of carbon dioxide. Later that there is a reduction process, isn't it? So the 115, the correct answer is B. 15 ATP is required and 6 NADPH is required. So 15 ATP for 3 carbon dioxide and 6 NADPH is required. Okay. The bundle sheath cells have thin walls, many intercellular spaces, and no chloroplast. Thick walls, no intercellular spaces, and large number of chloroplasts. Thin walls, no intercellular spaces, and several chloroplasts. Thin walls, many intercellular spaces, and few chloroplasts. So, what is the bundle sheath cells having? So, the 116th one, they are having thick walls without intercellular spaces and large number of chloroplasts. Okay, so second one is the correct one. Thick walls, no intercellular spaces, and large number of chloroplasts are found in the bundle sheath cells. Choose the correct sequence of steps occurring in C4 pathway. So what are the correct sequence of steps occurring in C4 pathway? Is it decarboxylation of malic acid? So we have to choose it in the correct sequence. Carboxylation of PEP, reduction of OAA, phosphorylation of pyruvate. So what are the correct steps involved here? So the first step I believe it to be the carboxylation of PEP. Then there is the reduction of OAA. So BCAD. So it comes as fourth option, isn't it? Let us check the correct option. Yes, BCAD is the correct option. First is carboxylation of PEP. Then there is reduction of oxaloacetic acid. Decarboxylation of malic acid takes place in bundle sheath cells. Then there is the final phosphorylation of pyruvate to form PEP. Okay. So these are all the steps. So BCAD is the correct sequence of this C4 pathway. Next question, which of the following component is made up of single molecule of special chlorophyll A? Is it photosystem, light harvesting complex? So which of the following component is made up of a single molecule of special chlorophyll A? Light harvesting complex, reaction center, quantazome. So the answer is, it should be the reaction center 118. The answer is 3, reaction center. So the photosynthesis of maize plants differ from wheat plant in number of ATP required per carbon dioxide fixation. So, or is it having spatial separation in both carboxylation, having pepcase activity, all of this. So photosynthesis of maize plant differ from wheat plant. Maize plant is C4 pathway, wheat plant is C3 pathway. So how does it differ? Is it number of this particular ATP required per carbon dioxide fixation, or is it having spatial separation in both carboxylation? That is also correct. They have this PEP carboxylase or pepcase activity. All of these is the correct answer. All these three, that is how maize plant differs from wheat plant. C4 pathway differs from C3 pathway. So that is what it implies. So the fourth one, all of these are the correct answer. Which step of non-cyclic photophosphorylation is blocked by DCMU? Okay, so which step of non-cyclic photophosphorylation is blocked by DCMU? Is it the flow of electron between PS1 to ferredoxin, or is it the flow of electron between cytochrome B6 to cytochrome F, or is it flow of electron between PC plastocyanin to PS1, flow of electron between PS2 to PQ? So which of this step in non-cyclic photophosphorylation is blocked by DCMU? Okay, so the answer is 120th, flow of electron between photosystem 2 to plastoquinone. So this is what DCMU is going to block in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, that is flow of electron between PS2 to PQ plastoquinone. How many electrons are required to reduce 2 molecules of carbon dioxide in Blackman reaction? So how many electrons are required to reduce? So is it 4 electrons, 8 electron, or is it 1 electron or 2 electrons? It is 8 electrons, because 4 electrons are required to reduce carbon dioxide, 1 carbon dioxide. If it is 2 molecules, it has to be 8 electrons. Okay, so that is what is the answer. Second one, 8 electrons. Which one does not differ between a C3 and a C4 plant? Okay, does not differ. That is, they are similar. Initial carbon dioxide acceptor, they do differ. Extent of photorespiration, they also differ. Is it enzyme catalyzing reaction that fixes initial carbon dioxide? They do differ even in that. Presence of Kelvin cycle, they do not differ. So which one does not differ between a C3 and C4 plant? Presence of Kelvin cycle. Leaf anatomy, there is a only 4 is the answer for this. So 122nd. So Kranz anatomy is noticed in C4 plant, which is not seen in C3 plant. So only 4 would be the ideal answer. So the 122nd B is the answer, only 4. So the linear relationship exists between incident light and rate of carbon dioxide fixation. So there is a direct relationship between, that is, incident light is directly proportional to rate of carbon dioxide fixation at or in high intensity light intensity, low light intensity. So linear relationship, where does it exist? Or in dense forest, more than one option is correct. So the answer is more than one option is correct here. So linear relationship exists between incident light and rate of carbon dioxide fixation at more than one aspect. Here it is, it can be high light intensity, low light intensity, or dense forest. So that is the reason fourth one, more than one option is correct. C4 plants can tolerate saline conditions due to occurrence of organic acids, absence of photorespiration, presence of PEP synthetase enzyme, presence of PEP carboxylase enzyme. So what makes them to withstand saline conditions in C4 plants? So the 124, the answer is A. Occurrence of organic acids within the C4 plants can make them withstand saline conditions, that is high salt conditions. So occurrence of organic acids. So 124th, first is the answer. 125 in situ cycle, that is photorespiration, the transamination is possible during the conversion of glycolate to glyoxylate, or is it glycine to serine, or is it hydroxypyruvate to glycerate, or glyoxylate to glycine. So the transamination is possible during the conversion of, so 125th A is the 125th D is the answer. So glyoxylate to glycine. So transamination is possible during the conversion of glyoxylate to glycine. Glycine is an amino acid group. So we should understand that transamination, transfer of amino group. So fourth is the correct option, glyoxylate to glycine. See, I'll be discussing those again, the doubt part of it at the end of the session. Okay, dear students. So any doubts, you just make a note of it. We'll have a discussion on that. Fine. So 126th, C4 plants are adapted to hot and dry climate, temperate climate, so cold and dry climate, hot and humid climate. So where are the C4 plants adapted to? So tropical dry conditions they are adapted to. That option is not given here. So you should be able to understand the type of weather in the rainforest. So C4 plants are adapted to hot and dry climate. Okay, so because they are tropical dry conditions, you find the C4 plant, sugarcane and maize plant. How many among the following are internal factors which affect photosynthesis? How many among them are internal factors which are affecting photosynthesis? So internal factors you should count it. So number of leaves, size of leaf, temperature doesn't come as internal factor, age of leaf, orientation of leaves, atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration, amount of chlorophyll, availability of sunlight, water. These are external factors. Temperature is external factors. So internal factors are number of leaves, size of leaf. So 2, age of leaf is 3, 4, then amount of chlorophyll is 5. So 127th, 5 is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Whereas this temperature, atmospheric carbon dioxide, then availability of sunlight, water, they are all external factors. Okay, 5 internal factors are there. Solarization is a process in which chlorophyll is formed, or is there destruction of chlorophyll A by severe sunlight. Solarization is a process in which there is destruction of chlorophyll A by severe sunlight. So this is the right answer. Okay, solarization implies destruction of chlorophyll A by severe sunlight. Okay, 129. So the C3 plant shows saturation beyond carbon dioxide levels of dash micron per liter, while C4 shows saturation at about dash micron per liter. So what is the correct option for this? So C3 plant shows saturation beyond carbon dioxide levels of 450. So the 129th, third one is the option 450 micron per liter, and this is given in the textbook. And C4 shows saturation at about 360 micron per liter. Okay, so the 130th, water stress affects the plants by causing the stomata to close, okay, hence reducing the carbon dioxide availability, making leaves to wilt, thus reducing the surface area of the leaves and their metabolic activity as well, affecting the rate of respiration, or is it both 1 and 2? So water stress affects the plants by causing the closure of stomata, making the leaves to wilt. So both of these are correct. So both 1 and 2. That is how the water stress affects the plant. So light saturation during photosynthesis occurs at dash percent of full sunlight. So light saturation during photosynthesis occurs at 10% of full sunlight. Okay. 132nd, I think we have solved these questions. Which of these crops are allowed to grow in carbon dioxide enriched atmosphere that leads to higher yield? So tomato and bell pepper. So whereas all the other plants are C4 plants, which of these crops are allowed to grow in carbon dioxide enriched atmosphere because they can take up more carbon dioxide. So we are going for this tomato and bell pepper that leads to higher yield. So when compared to the C4 plants, so that is C4 or CAM plants, we are going to go for this tomato and bell pepper plants, which are C3 plants. So this is the correct option. 132nd is first one. So the tomato and bell pepper plants are allowed to grow in carbon dioxide enriched atmosphere, leading to higher yield. The rate of photosynthesis is dependent upon, so rate of photosynthesis is dependent upon quality of light, intensity of light, duration of light, temperature. So majorly it is going to be the duration of light. Okay. What is or are the functions of accessory pigments? So they enable a wider range of wavelength of incoming light to be utilized for photosynthesis. Very true. They absorb light and transfer the energy to reaction center, that is chlorophyll A. Very true. So both the statements are correct. They protect reaction center from photooxidation. All these three are correct. I've even given this question in DPP. If you just check a daily practice problem, I have framed it similar question to this. All of the above, so this is the right option. So 134th, fourth one is the right option. 135th, what will happen to a plant? What will happen to the rate of photosynthesis if sodium bicarbonate is added in the water having hydrilla plant in a beaker? So what will happen to the rate of photosynthesis if sodium bicarbonate is added in the water having hydrilla plant in a beaker? It will remain normal, or will the rate of photosynthesis be decreased, or will it be stopped, or it will be accelerated? The answer is it will be accelerated because sodium bicarbonate, when you add into water, they release carbon dioxide as a result of it. So the rate of photosynthesis will be accelerated. The aquatic plants rate of photosynthesis will be accelerated. So 135th, fourth one is the correct option. Okay, so now we'll proceed to the zoology part of it. Okay, so I'll be discussing the doubts that you have in the botany part. So here the major topic that was chosen was photosynthesis. So we were discussing about setting paper on your weaker topics, isn't it? At present, we are discussing about the photosynthesis. So the zoology part of it will be proceeding in female reproductive system. External genitalia is located in pelvic region, pectoral region, scapular region, femoral region. So the external genitalia is located in the pelvic region. Okay. So the vagina is located in the pelvic region. So that is what the external genitalia implies. So the 137 stroma of ovary in human is divisible into ovary in females, in human females. So the stroma of ovary is divisible into cortex and medulla, infundibulum and ampulla, is it isthmus and lobes, or many small compartments. So the stroma of human ovary is divisible into cortex and medulla, first one. So 137, the first one is the right answer. So how many of the following are not the accessory ducts in human female reproductive system? So how many of the following are not the accessory ducts in human female reproductive system? So is it oviducts? How many of the following are not accessory ducts? Uterus, vagina, ovaries. So which are not the accessory ducts? So the 138th, so only one is not an accessory duct, in human female reproductive system. Okay. So one of them is not the accessory ducts in human female reproductive system. So that is the only one option is of that is not able to have this accessory duct in the female reproductive system. Which of the following is not included in external genitalia of female? Mons pubis, labia majora, hymen, cervix. So cervix is not included in external genitalia of female. Okay, internally it is located, isn't it? So cervix is the answer. 139th is D. 140th, which of the following is the glandular layer in the wall of uterus? Is it perimetrium, mesometrium, endometrium? So endometrium is the glandular layer in the wall of uterus. So 140th. So the C is the answer, or third one is the answer. Identify the incorrect statement. Mons pubis is made up of fatty tissue. Presence of or absence of hymen is a reliable indicator of virginity. Clitoris appears to be like a tiny finger. Birth canal is formed by cervical canal and vagina. So here you have to identify the incorrect statement. So the incorrect statement is presence or absence of hymen is a reliable indicator of virginity is a wrong statement. Okay, so because hymen can be torn by physical or strenuous exercises or horse riding, so they are all the way that an hymen can be torn. So the presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity. So 141st second one is the this one is the incorrect statement. Okay, it's a reliable indicator, it's not a reliable indicator. So that is the reason second one is incorrect statement. The number of mammary lobes found in each breast is it 1 to 2, or is it 3 to 5, or is it 5 to 10? Fourth one, is it 15 to 20? So 15 to 20 mammary lobes are found in each breast. So that is what is the answer, 15 to 20. So the diagrammatic section of mammary glands is given. Select the incorrect option. C is the fat and D is the bone. So we have to select the incorrect option. E helps in respiration. B is 15 to 20 in number. A is lined by non-secretory cells. So we have to select the incorrect option here. So A is lined by non-secretory cells is an incorrect option. A is lined by secretory cells, not non-secretory, it is secretory cells. So fourth one is the incorrect options. Identify the incorrect statement. Term womb is used for uterus. Yes, it is correct. Cervical canal is a part of birth canal. That is also right. Mons pubis is a fibrous tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. So the 144th question, C is the wrong answer. Mons pubis is a fibrous tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. This is the wrong option. Hymen partially covers the vagina. So this is the correct statement. Incorrect statement is mons pubis is a fibrous tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. This is the incorrect statement. You already know that. So the mons pubis is made up of fatty tissue. Okay. Diagrammatic view of female reproductive system is given. Select the option with incorrect function or features. Okay. A is rich in smooth muscles. Yes, obviously the uterus part of it, it will be rich in smooth muscles. D, it is the part of birth canal, that is from cervix, it leads to the birth canal. B is site for oogenesis, that is, and C is finger-like projections that help to collect the ovum from the uterus. That is wrong, not from the uterus, from the ovary. Okay, so fourth one is the incorrect statement. So in the diagram 145th, fourth one is the incorrect statement. It collects the ovum from the ovary, not from the uterus. So the female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labrum, labium, and hymen. Okay, mons pubis, labia majora, labrum, and hymen. So mons pubis, labia minora, labia majora, hilum, and clitoris. So mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. So D is the correct option. The female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. So the fourth option is the correct one. So 146th D. 147th. So we have to match the following. So birth canal. So it is between the uh, cervix and vagina. So the birth canal. Okay. So this is 147th, isn't it? So birth canal is between cervix and vagina. So stroma. So it is between cortex and medulla. So stroma contains the cortex and medulla. Ejaculatory duct. So it has vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicle. They function as the help in the ejaculatory duct. Penis. So fellow intromittent organ. It is intromittent organ or copulatory organ. So this is the correct option. So second one, A is 4, B is 3, that is birth canal, cervix and vagina, stroma, cortex and medulla, ejaculatory duct, vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicles, penis, intromittent organ or copulatory organ. So second one is the right option for this. 148th, lower narrow end of uterus is called cervix. Okay, so that is very simple answer, cervix. On which surface of testis the epididymis is located? Is it on anterior surface of testis or posterior surface of testis? So superior surface of testis or inferior surface of testis? At which position are they located? It is the posterior surface of testis. The epididymis is located. Posterior surface of testis. The epididymis is located. Skin covering the glands of penis is called foreskin, epididymis, testicles, scrotum. So it is called as foreskin. So 150th, first one is the right answer. So skin covering the glands penis is called foreskin. So 151st, how many of the following is or not male accessory glands? So you have to find out the total number of uh, non-male accessory glands. So you have the examples of seminal vesicles, prostate, the Skene's glands, Bartholin glands, then bulbourethral glands. So they are totally, it would be 151st. It is two of them are non-male accessory glands. They are not male accessory glands. So two of them are not male accessory glands. So 151st, two of the above are not male accessory glands. Okay. So the in male reproductive tract, duct of P and Q joins to form ejaculatory duct that opens into urethra. If P contributes more in semen by volume, then P and Q are respectively. Okay. So epididymis and vas deferens, or is it the duct of bulbourethral glands and duct of seminal vesicle, or duct of seminal vesicles and vas deferens? So it is vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicles. Okay, P and Q join, that is vas deferens and seminal vesicles join to form ejaculatory duct that opens into urethra. If vas deferens contributes more in semen by volume, then P and Q are respectively vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicles. So 152nd, So which is the correct answer for 152nd? So I find it to be the duct of seminal vesicles because they are contributing more in semen from the seminal vesicles. So duct of seminal vesicles and vas deferens is the answer. So third C is the right answer for this 152nd. Unpaired male accessory gland is. Okay, paired male accessory glands, seminal vesicles, bulbourethral glands, Cowper's gland, they are all paired. But unpaired male accessory gland is prostate gland. So prostate gland is the unpaired male accessory gland. So 153rd, second one is the right option. Okay. Reti testis leads into vasa efferentia. Reti testis leads into vasa efferentia. So 154th is second one. Identify the correct combinations from the following related to testis of man. So we have to identify the correct options combination. A, prostate glands. Second one, A, seminal vesicle. So A, they have given prostate glands. B, vas deferens. A, seminal vesicles. B, vas deferens. C, urethra. They have given it as. So the correct option for the 155th is, so A is prostate glands. So the unpaired uh, male gland is the prostate glands. A is the correct option. Okay, remaining labelings are all not correct combinations. So they are incorrect. So this is the correct combination. A is the prostate gland. 156th, in males, urethra originates from the neck of urinary bladder. In males, urethra originates from neck of urinary bladder. Urethral meatus refers to the urinogenital duct. We have discussed this question. Opening of vasa deferens into urethra, external opening of the urinogenital duct, or is it muscles surrounding the urinogenital duct? So what is the answer for this? So urethral meatus refers to the external opening of the urinogenital duct. So 157th, third is the correct option. External opening of the urinogenital duct. We call it as urethral meatus. Identify the hormones which help in the regulation of spermatogenesis. So LH and FSH, testosterone only, testosterone, progesterone, and LH only, or LH only. So 158, first one is the right option. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone helps in the regulation of spermatogenesis. So 158 is LH and FSH. 159, spermiation is the process of the release of sperms from seminiferous tubules, vas deferens, epididymis, prostate gland. So what is the spermiation? Is the process of release of sperms from which of them? So the 159th, it is seminiferous tubules. Spermiation is the process of release from seminiferous tubules. 168th, primary sex organ of female and male respectively is. So the 160th, the primary sex organ of male and female respectively is ovary and testis. Okay, so they are the sex organs or reproductive organs of female and male respectively is ovary and testis. So third one is the correct option. 160th, third one is the correct option. Spermatogonia present on the inside walls of seminiferous tubules multiply by mitosis, or is it by meiosis? So it is by mitosis they multiply. Spermatogonia present on the inside wall of seminiferous tubules multiply by mitosis. So 161st A is the right option. First polar body is produced during the formation of sperm, primary oocyte, oogonium, secondary oocyte. So first polar body is formed during the produced during the formation of the secondary oocyte. Okay, so 162nd it is secondary oocyte. The first polar body is produced during the formation of secondary oocyte. The conversion of spermatid into spermatozoa, the conversion of spermatid into spermatozoa, what do we call it as? So we call it as spermiogenesis. So 163rd it is spermiogenesis. In spermatogenesis process we come across this. So conversion of spermatid into spermatozoa is called spermiogenesis. First one is the answer. If primary spermatocyte has 46 chromosomes, then what will be the number of chromosomes in the secondary spermatocyte? So the 164th, the answer is B, 23 chromosomes, because they would have undergone meiosis. So 23 chromosomes. So 164th it is B. Next one, first meiotic division of oocyte is completed in. Is it completed in primary follicle, secondary follicle, or tertiary follicle, or Graafian follicle? First meiotic division of oocyte is completed in tertiary follicle. How are mature human sperm and ovum similar? So how are they similar? They are of same size, they are formed before birth, they are produced from puberty until death. They both have the same number of chromosomes. Fourth one is the correct option. So 166D is the correct option. Both of them have the same number of chromosomes. Very good question it is, because both of them are haploid. They have 23 chromosomes. Fourth one is the correct option. Observe the figure given below. Which of the following label in the figure above has been correctly identified with its functions? Okay, X, acrosome filled with hydrolytic enzymes. So 167th, A itself is correct. Then the remaining are not correct. Middle parts of sperm harbors only a single centriole. It will be having two centrioles. W. Golgi complex acts as a powerhouse of sperm. P, it is the ciliated tail to facilitate the whiplash movement of sperms. All these are wrong. X is acrosome filled with hydrolytic enzymes is the correctly identified with its function. 168, corpus luteum will be formed in the ovary after ovulation. So after ovulation, the Graafian follicle will function as corpus luteum. So 168 is first one. 169, intracellular receptors are mostly, first one, nuclear receptors, cytoplasmic receptors, or are they mitochondrial receptors or protoplasmic receptors? See, intracellular receptors are mostly nuclear receptors. Okay. 170th, secretin hormone is produced from. So secretin hormone is produced from stomach and stimulate gastric gland, duodenum and stimulate liver, thyroid and stimulate thyroid gland, duodenum and stimulates pancreas. So this is the correct one. So secretin hormone is produced from the duodenum and it stimulates the pancreas. So 170th is fourth one is right. The atrial wall of our heart secretes atrial natriuretic factor. So third one, 171C. 172nd, which of the following is a gastrointestinal hormone? Cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin is the gastrointestinal hormone. Which hormone interacts with membrane bound receptor and does not normally enter the target cell? So it interacts with membrane bound receptor and does not normally enter the target cell. So FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, interacts with membrane bound receptor and does not enter the target cell. So answer is follicle stimulating hormone. In hormone action, if receptor molecules are removed from target organ, the target organ will continue to respond to hormone, not respond to hormone, So this is what is going to happen if receptor molecules are removed from target organ. The target organ will not respond to hormone. So second one is the correct option. 174th, second is right. 175th, how many of the hormones in the list given below interact with membrane bound receptors and regulate cellular metabolism? Okay. So insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, cortisol, thyroxine, testosterone, estradiol, progesterone, epinephrine. So totally there is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them are there. So of these, how many of the list given below interact with membrane-bound receptors and regulate the cellular metabolism? Okay. So the 175th, the answer is four of them. Okay. So four of them can interact with the membrane-bound receptors. So the insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, thyroxine. So I think insulin, glucagon, cortisol, or thyroxine. So four of them are correct. The function of atrial natriuretic factor is decreasing of blood pressure, erythropoiesis, glycogenolysis, increasing of blood pressure. So the 176, the right answer is decreasing of blood pressure. The function of atrial natriuretic factor is decreasing of blood pressure. Secondary messenger is not formed in the action of following hormone. So secondary messenger is not formed in the estrogen. Okay. Identify A, B, and C in the diagrammatic representation of the mechanism of hormone action. So you have to recognize the A, B, and C. So A is a protein hormone, so 178. So A protein hormone, B cyclic AMP, and C is hormone receptor complex. That is wrong. So steroid hormone A, hormone receptor complex. C is protein. That is also wrong. So the 178 A is protein hormone, B is receptor, C is cyclic AMP. So that is the right option. So 178 A is protein hormone, receptor, cyclic AMP. Okay, so that is the correct options. Statement 1, the hormones which interact with membrane bound receptors normally do not enter the target cells. These hormones generate second messengers, which in turn regulate the cellular metabolism. So these are the two statements that they have given. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Okay. The hormones which interact with membrane bound receptors normally do not enter the target cell. So these hormones generate secondary messengers which in turn regulate the cellular metabolism. Okay. So statement 1 and 2 both are correct options. The immune system of old individuals becomes weak. Okay, thymus gland atrophies in old individuals. So fourth option, both first and second statement are correct. So this is the correct option for this. Statement 1 and statement 2, both of them are correct. Okay, so that completes our discussion for today's paper. So any doubts or clarification, you can just get it clarified, dear students. Now the session is open for doubt clarification.